Cancer cells forgot how to grow, then Big Pharma buried it. In 1993, a team in Milan didn't just shrink tumors. They made them forget they were cancer at all. A single injection, and aggressive breast cancer cells began to soften. Their spiked edges smoothed out. The frantic, endless division slowed, then stopped. They didn't just die. They remembered what it was like to be healthy, to be whole, to belong to a body, not consume it. No chemo, no radiation, no hair loss, no nausea, no bone-deep exhaustion. Just a single molecule that rewrote the tumor's memory like a hand erasing a chalkboard. But the molecule wasn't a drug. It was something far more radical, a memory wipe for tumors. And that's when the trouble started. The lab was tucked inside the University of Milan, a cramped third-floor room with flickering fluorescent lights. A small team of biologists and grad students worked alongside a single microscope that cost more than their yearly salaries combined. They weren't looking for a cure. They were chasing a question. How do cells remember to be cancer? How do they pass that memory down, generation after generation? Not through DNA alone, but through something deeper: epigenetics. The chemical marks that tell a cell who it is, what it should become. Then, one Tuesday morning in early March, a researcher noticed something impossible. He'd treated a dish of breast cancer cells with a synthetic molecule, not to kill them, just to watch, to see if it would nudge their epigenetic marks, like turning the volume down on a song. But after 48 hours, the cells weren't just quieter, they were changing. Their shapes shifted under the microscope, less like barbed wire, more like orderly bricks of healthy tissue. He called the lead researcher over. She adjusted the focus, her breath catching. "This can't be right," she whispered. She ran the test again and again, every time the same result. The cells didn't die. They forgot they were cancer. The team prepared the next experiment with trembling hands. They injected the molecule into mice with aggressive tumors, mice given weeks to live. For days, nothing seemed to happen. Then, on the 10th day, the tumors were softer, smaller. By the 14th day, they'd shrunk by 70%. No inflammation, no scarring, no collateral damage, just reversal. The cancer hadn't been attacked. It had been unlearned. The molecule didn't fight the cancer. It erased the instructions that told the cancer how to be cancer. Like hitting delete on a corrupted file. And that was the problem, because in 1994, Big Pharma came knocking. A representative from a pharmaceutical giant arrived in Milan on a rainy Thursday. He wore a tailored suit, carried a leather briefcase, and spoke in practiced tones. He offered them a check for $2 million, enough to fund the lab for 5 years, enough to turn the molecule into a drug, enough to save thousands of lives. But there was a catch. The data had to be buried, not destroyed, buried. The company wanted exclusive rights. They wanted to replicate the findings in secret. And they wanted the Milan team to sign a non-disclosure agreement so tight it would make the Vatican blush. No publications, no presentations, no whispers of what they'd found, just silence. The lead researcher refused. 3 weeks later, the funding vanished. Not just the companies, all of it. The university claimed budget cuts. The Italian government cited priorities. Even private donors pulled out, their emails polite but final. Within 6 months, the lab was empty. The team scattered like leaves in a storm. One researcher left for a job in Switzerland. The lead scientist took a teaching position in Naples, her dreams of curing cancer buried beneath lesson plans and grading papers. And the molecule? It disappeared into the black hole of corporate science, where discoveries go to be monetized or erased. But here's where the story gets stranger. 20 years later, in 2014, the FDA approved a new immunotherapy drug. It didn't just shrink tumors, it reprogrammed them, made them forget they were cancer. Sound familiar? The drug's active molecule was a tweaked version of the original. The same chemical backbone, the same epigenetic mechanism, the same promise. The pharmaceutical company had spent 2 decades refining the Milan team's discovery, testing it, patenting it, selling it for $40,000 a dose. And in all that time, not once did they mention the Italian lab. Not in the press releases, not in the clinical trials, not even in the fine print. The lead researcher found out by accident. She was scrolling through a medical journal one evening, her glasses slipping down her nose, when she saw the chemical structure. Her heart stopped. She zoomed in, counted the atoms, checked the bonds. It was identical to the original molecule, down to the last atom. She called her former colleague, her voice shaking. He confirmed it. They dug through old emails, lab notes, patent filings, and there it was. The company had replicated their work in 2002, kept it quiet, waited until the original team was too old, too tired, too broken to fight back. And the worst part? It worked. The new drug saved lives, thousands of them. Patients who'd been given months to live were walking out of hospitals, cancer-free. Their tumors didn't just shrink, they dissolved, like sugar in water. But the people who made it possible, they got nothing. No credit, no compensation, no apology. Just the hollow knowledge that their discovery had been stolen, polished, and sold back to the world at a price only the wealthy could afford. The university shut down the lab for good in 2015. The building was renovated. The old equipment was auctioned off. The room where they'd made history was gutted and turned into a lecture hall. Today, if you walk past room 307, you'll see students taking notes on molecular biology. None of them know what happened there. None of them know that 20 years ago, a team of scientists stood in that very room and watched cancer forget how to grow. And that's the real tragedy. Because the science wasn't wrong. It was too right, too disruptive, too dangerous to the people who profit from sickness. So they buried it, not with malice necessarily, but with paperwork, with contracts, with the quiet, bureaucratic efficiency of an industry that values patents over patients, profits over progress. But here's the thing about buried truths. They don't stay buried. They seep out, in footnotes, in patents, in the stories of the people who were there. The lead researcher still has her lab notebooks, their pages yellowed with age. Her colleague keeps a framed photo of the team on his desk, though he never talks about it. And if you dig deep enough, if you search epigenetic cancer reprogramming or comb through the USPTO database, you'll find the truth. It's still there, hidden in plain sight. The next time someone tells you science is always honest, remember the Milan lab. Remember the molecule that made cancer forget. And remember the people who made it happen then had their names erased from history. Because the most dangerous science isn't the kind that fails. It's the kind that succeeds too well. Read the 1993 paper in the description. Follow for more buried medical history.